Welcome to this installation instructional video for the Icon Compensated Tension Lift Frame, CTLF. This video illustrates the typical installation procedure on board the Atwood Osprey semi-submersible drilling rig. The Icon CTLF assembly consists of several pre-installed deck modules C-fastened to purpose-built equipment grillages on the port riser bay, including a bank of main air pressure vessels, a winch hydraulic power unit, a bank of high-pressure charging air pressure vessels connected to an air compressor, and a hydraulic power unit for operating the CTLF. Hoses and umbilicals extend from the deck equipment over the port-aft wind wall to a termination frame at the side of the derrick. From here, they branch out, with some extending up the derrick for connection to the CTLF, while the remainder extend down to the drill floor control panel. The CTLF, packaged in a protective shipping skid, will be loaded out on a supply vessel, lifted onto the rig with the starboard side crane, and temporarily laid down on the starboard side main deck. The CTLF guide frame is initially installed on the drill floor with the aid of the rig's riser skate. It is lifted onto the drill floor with the top drive and positioned under the rig's dolly tracks. Pins are removed, unlocking the guide frame's telescopic legs before lifting the guide frame to engage with the dolly tracks and relocking the telescopic legs. Next, the CTLF is lifted from its shipping skid with the starboard crane and slewed clockwise around to the riser skate, which is fitted with pre-installed support stools. The CTLF is landed out on the riser skate with its lower spreader guiding over a spigot on the aft support stool and its cylinders resting in cradles on the forward support stool. Once landed out, the CTLF's four-leg sling set is disconnected and removed. The riser skate is driven forward until the head of the CTLF is at well center. At this stage, the CTLF's upper spreader beam is connected to the rig's top drive via standard elevator links, with keeper plates to lock them in place. The starboard crane can then be reconnected to the CTLF via a single-leg sling attached to the lift sub in the lower spreader beam. The catwalk tugger and drill floor tuggers are also connected in a specific arrangement to help stabilize the CTLF during the next lift. With nominal tension applied to the support lines, the rig's top drive and starboard crane are hoisted simultaneously, lifting the CTLF clear of the riser skate support stools. The riser skate is then traversed aft until the forward support stool is beneath the CTLF's lower spreader beam. The rig's top drive and starboard crane are then lowered simultaneously, landing out the CTLF's lower spreader beam over the spigot on the forward support stool. The starboard crane can then be disconnected. Next, the top drive is hoisted while the riser skate is simultaneously traversed forward, upending the CTLF. Once the riser skate reaches its maximum forward position, rigging from the drill floor tuggers is then reconfigured in the pre-engineered arrangement to provide lateral stability while lifting the CTLF vertical into the derrick. Next, tension is applied to the aft tuggers whilst continuing to raise the top drive until the CTLF lower spreader beam is clear of the support stool. The aft tugger is then slowly paid out, tailing the CTLF to the vertical position. With the CTLF buckets directly above the guide frame pins, the top drive is lowered, docking the CTLF to the guide frame and 4 pins installed, locking them together. 2 jumper pipe spools are then installed between the CTLF and the guide frame, made up with Tech-Lock connectors and umbilicals, which were previously installed in the derrick, are now connected to the back of the guide frame. There are 2 primary high-pressure air hoses plus hydraulic umbilicals that operate the CTLF-mounted winches, an electrical umbilical, and a CTLF hydraulic control umbilical. The CTLF control umbilical passes straight through the guide frame and is made up to the CTLF with a stab plate connection. With the hoses and umbilicals made up, the upper dolly guide is raised using the drill floor tugger and docked with the CTLF upper buckets. Using the CTLF's dedicated man-rider winch, a man can access the top of the CTLF to install locking pins. The next phase of the operation is to install the surface flow tree and slick joint. This assembly is lifted onto a custom interface support frame on the riser skate and skidded onto the drill floor. The surface flow tree handling sub is stabbed through the CTLF lower spreader beam, with locking collars fitted on the far side, securing it in place. With the tailing rigging installed, the rig's top drive and starboard crane are used to lift, upend, and tail the SFT assembly from the riser skate into the derrick. At this stage, personnel can access the CTLF via its dedicated man-rider winch. It should be noted that for working at heights, The CTLF is fitted with multiple inertia reels and securing points to provide double fall restraint to personnel at all times. With men on the guide frame, its access platform is lowered onto the CTLF lower spreader beam in preparation for installing the relevant pressure control equipment, PCE, for the planned operations. Until now, the completions workover riser would have been suspended from a C-plate at the drill floor. The top drive is lowered to make up the connection between the slick joint and the completions workover riser. The complete assembly is then raised, allowing the C-plate to be removed. Next, the CTLF operator remotely retracts the mechanical locking pins using the drill floor control panel. The CTLF operator extends the CTLF cylinders while the driller simultaneously lifts the top drive to maintain a constant elevation of the slick joint. When the cylinders are at mid-stroke, the operator will hydraulically lock the CTLF. With the rig's active heave drawworks set to landing mode, the driller lowers the complete assembly and lands out the LRP. Once the subsea connection is made up, the driller can pick up with the drawworks to conduct the connection overpull test. Next, the tension is reduced to the required normal operating overpull across the EDP. After checking the CTLF system pressures and making any necessary adjustments, the CTLF operator releases the hydraulic lock, switching the CTLF to compensating mode. At this stage, the driller can apply the brakes to the active heave drawworks, allowing the CTLF to provide primary heave compensation for the duration of the locked to bottom operations. This animation illustrates a wireline rig up. The wireline blowout preventer, BOP, is initially picked up with the rig crane and transferred onto the drill floor in preparation for installing in the CTLF. Up on the CTLF, it is recommended that personnel position themselves on the upper platform. From this location, they can help guide the BOP into position safely with reduced risk of pinch points. From the upper platform, the CTLF's PCE winch can also be directly operated by personnel on the frame, increasing control when landing out the BOP. Once the BOP is landed out, personnel can return to the lower platform to make up the connection between the BOP and the surface flow tree. This would typically be done by the third-party PCE service contractor. Next, the wireline lubricator stack is picked up and also transferred onto the drill floor. Back up on the CTLF, personnel again position themselves on the upper platform to receive the lubricator stack. On the upper level, there is a hinged platform which can be folded over to provide access closer to well center. Again, using the CTLF's PCE winch, the lubricator stack is lifted and guided into position on top of the BOP. Once locked to bottom operations are complete, the driller can put the active heave drawworks back into active mode. Once the AHD has phased, the CTLF operator then switches the compensator back into hydraulic lock mode, and the rig's active heave drawworks will then be functioning as the primary compensator. At this point, the driller can proceed with operations to disconnect and retrieve the completions workover riser. This animation has illustrated the overall CTLF installation procedure. During actual rig up, ICON's detailed installation procedures should be followed. We thank you for your attention. For further information, please contact ICON Engineering.